Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking something pretty massive, the universal blueprint for excellence. You know, whether we're talking about biology, high-end physical manufacturing, or even cutting-edge AI workflows, the starting point is always exactly the same: messy, raw materials. But here is the absolute secret. Excellence, it's never just a happy accident. It is always engineered through incredibly rigid frameworks.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, the architecture of excellence. 2. Biology, the Brahman framework. 3. Craft, sustainable horn production. 4. Quality control in luxury leather. 5. Digital, AI prompt engineering. And finally, number 6, the universal blueprint. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Architecture of Excellence, Transforming the Raw into the Refined.
Think for a second about the sheer chaos of, say, extreme environmental heat, or the total unpredictability of raw animal byproducts, or even just the vast, unfiltered noise of the internet. If you want a top-tier result, like a truly star output, you literally cannot leave things to chance. No way. You've got to apply a strict, specialized blueprint. The process is simple in theory. You take a raw, chaotic input, apply a rigid framework to it, and boom, you engineer an optimal output. Let's actually look at our first case study to see how nature itself acts as the ultimate engineer.
Section 2. Biology, the Brahman framework, nature's heat management system.
Okay, so look at the Brahman cow. Bred for generations by experts like those at the V8 ranch down in Texas, this animal is an absolute masterpiece of evolutionary adaptation. It's so cool how specific physical traits act as this perfectly integrated cooling and pest resistance system. Take that signature hump on the back, for example. A lot of folks just assume it stores water, kind of like a camel, right? But actually, scratch that. It's a large protein-packed muscle called the cupim. Then you have those massive pendulous ears. They're almost like an elephant's, providing this huge surface area designed specifically to just constantly release heat. And check out the loose skin and folds under the chin. Those are called dewlaps, acting as a natural sun barrier. Get this. That hide packs in literally 4 times as many sweat glands as other cattle breeds, all while allowing blood vessels near the surface to expand and effectively cool the animal down. It's a brilliant biological framework, optimized entirely for surviving extreme climates.
Now, the human element of this engineering is just as fascinating. The American Brahman Breeders Association maintains this framework with some incredibly rigorous standards. They optimize for red or gray spectrums, so anything ranging from bright white all the way to dark charcoal. But look at what they disqualify: true albino, brindle striping, or that muted gruella coloring. These don't just look visually different, they actually indicate a deviation from the optimized genetic framework. Basically, if it doesn't fit the biological blueprint, it just doesn't make the cut.
What's super fascinating here is the sheer level of control. Breeders have actually figured out how to tweak this genetic blueprint, almost like software developers toggling a new feature on an app. They can optimize for horned or polled, which just means genetically hornless cattle, without losing an ounce of the overall quality and hardiness of the animal. It completely proves that within a highly successful framework, you can target specific traits to meet your exact needs.
Moving right along. Section 3. Craft. Sustainable horn production. Engineering natural byproducts.
All right, check these out. These are black cattle horn rolls produced by Horn Impex over in India. What they do is take this highly unpredictable, raw, natural byproduct of the meat industry, stuff that would absolutely just go to waste otherwise, and they completely transform it. By applying a strict framework of traditional artistry combined with modern export standards, they ethically source this material and hand polish it to a flawless, glossy finish. And the best part? Zero waste in the entire process.
I mean, just notice the incredible uniformity in the cross-sections of these horn rolls. How in the world do they achieve that exact level of consistency with such a wild natural material? Simple, by completely refusing to rely on mass-market chaos. Horn Impex controls the entire framework, entirely in-house. We're talking the sourcing, the seasoning, the shaping, and that intense hand polishing. Because they control every single input and process, they can guarantee the uniform density, the durability, and that gorgeous aesthetic appeal required for premium export products. Think custom knife handles, bespoke jewelry, luxury decor. That strict process is exactly what guarantees the premium output.
Section 4. Quality control in luxury leather, the matrix of premium processing.
So premium processing requires a framework that goes way beyond just a simple visual check.
Now, yes, of course they do visual checks for thickness, consistency, grain uniformity, and color stability. But the real nitty-gritty engineering happens in the technical evaluation. They're scientifically testing tensile strength to make absolutely sure the leather won't tear under pressure. They're measuring exact flexibility. They're conducting incredibly strict chemical analysis for pH levels and leftover tanning residues. You might be wondering, why does pH matter so much? Well, if it's even slightly off, the leather might degrade prematurely or, worse, irritate human skin. So it's this highly scientific framework applied to a raw natural input to guarantee absolute luxury performance.
And the environment itself? That's a huge part of the rigid framework too. Just like a grocery store rigorously rotates perishable milk, professional facilities use a strict first-in, first-out, or FIFO rotation system. When you combine that with heavily climate-controlled storage, it guarantees that the raw material is always kept in its absolute optimal condition throughout the entire production cycle. You don't just engineer the product, you have to engineer its environment.
Section 5. Digital AI Prompt Engineering, Structuring Raw Data.
Now for a digital pivot. If you've ever used AI and gotten that generic, robotic garbage back, well, it's because you fed it raw inputs without a framework. Just like raw leather or raw genetics, AI absolutely needs incredibly clear boundaries. To fix this, you've got to engineer a master prompt using real-world data. So step 1 of this digital framework. Go search YouTube for outlier videos in your niche. The videos pulling way more views than normal. Step 2, copy the first 30 seconds of their transcripts so you capture exactly how they hook the viewer. Step 3, take those transcripts, along with maybe a few articles on hook psychology, and feed all that raw data into an analytical tool like Google's Notebook LM.
Once the AI analyzes those hidden patterns of success, you have it build your prompt using a very specific architecture. Your master prompt literally must contain these 6 elements. Role, who is the AI playing? Context, who's the audience? Objective, what exactly is it making for you? Constraints, what words, phrases, or tones must it absolutely avoid? Examples, the real-world data you just collected. And output format, exactly how you want it presented. By explicitly defining these elements, especially the constraints, you're essentially cutting away the unusable parts of the raw material. It's exactly like a master craftsman trimming away the weak points of raw leather.
This quote right here perfectly captures the entire philosophy. Without examples, the AI guesses what good means. With examples, it imitates a pattern. Let me say that again. With examples, it imitates a pattern. You are giving the AI the exact genetic blueprint for a successful output, entirely preventing it from just guessing. Feeding the AI 10 to 15 highly successful real-world examples as part of your framework completely eliminates that generic AI flavor everyone hates. It literally engineers the excellence for you.
Section 6. The Universal Blueprint, Connecting the Domains.
So this is the universal blueprint we've been uncovering throughout this entire explainer today. And the crazy thing is, it fundamentally does not matter what domain you are operating in. Whether nature is building a heat-resistant Brahman cow using a genetic framework of large ears and loose skin, or artisans in India are controlling the seasoning and polishing of horn rolls, or facilities are chemically testing leather pH, or you're just sitting at your laptop structuring a 6-part digital AI prompt, the blueprint for success is exactly identical. Excellence is engineered by applying rigid, targeted frameworks to raw materials. Period.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to ponder today. Take a good look at your own messy, raw inputs. The tasks, the chaotic projects, those unfinished materials you wrestle with every single day. How could you apply a little structured engineering to those inputs to transform them into something truly excellent? Start building your frameworks and just watch the quality of your output soar. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Now, what raw materials are you going to engineer today?